The look on my wife's lawyer's face. December 14th, 2023, 2:47 p.m., Stamford Family Court. When the DNA results proved I was the father, should have been my victory. But the judge's next sentence about ordering a second test for my son turned my vindication into the worst 5 seconds of my life. If you've got some time and maybe something strong to drink, settle in. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't just about a cheating wife or a messy divorce. It's about how the weapon someone uses to destroy you can end up destroying them instead. And it's about how 9 years of your life can disappear in the time it takes to read a single piece of paper. 3 months ago, I thought I knew exactly who I was. Michael Brennan, 42, firefighter, father of 2, married 10 years. I coached Little League on Saturdays. I made pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. I was the guy who showed up to every parent-teacher conference with a notepad and questions about curriculum development. I was, by every measure that mattered to me, a good dad. Today, I know the truth. One of those kids isn't mine. My wife knew it the whole time. And the DNA test she demanded to take away my rights to my daughter ended up exposing the affair baby she'd been hiding for 9 years. This is the story of how I went from the man who avoided confrontation at all costs to the man who burned down his wife's entire life in a courtroom. And honestly, I'd do it again. Let me take you back to the beginning when I was still stupid enough to believe in happy endings. I met Amanda Hartley in October 2013 at a community fundraiser. I was there with the fire department doing one of those meet your local heroes things. You know, where we let kids try on helmets and pretend to use the hose. She was the new 3rd grade teacher at Riverside Elementary, and she had this way of smiling that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. Looking back, I should have recognized that for the manipulation tactic it was. But I was 31, lonely after a string of failed relationships, and she paid attention to me. We dated for 6 months before she suggested we move in together. Another 6 months after that, I proposed. My brother Brian pulled me aside at my bachelor party and said, "You sure about this, Mike? You've only known her a year." I laughed it off. Told him when you know, you know. Turns out you can know someone for a decade and not know them at all. Amanda got pregnant 3 months after the wedding, March 2014. I remember because it was right after our first anniversary dinner, and she came out of the bathroom waving the pregnancy test like a winning lottery ticket. I picked her up and spun her around our tiny apartment, already imagining teaching my kid to ride a bike, to tie their shoes, to be brave. The pregnancy was weird, though. Little things I didn't think much about at the time. She didn't want me at the first few doctor's appointments, said she was embarrassed about the intimate exam stuff. She was vague about her due date, always saying late February or early March. When I tried to look at the ultrasound pictures, she'd snatch them back and say they didn't turn out well. Ethan Michael Brennan was born March 15th, 2015. I wasn't in the delivery room. Amanda said it was an emergency C-section and they didn't have time to get me scrubbed in. I believed her because why wouldn't I? I held my son, for the first time in a hospital recovery room, and I swear to God I would have walked through fire for him. Hell, I literally did walk through fire for a living, but in that moment I knew I'd found my real purpose. He was perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes, thick dark hair, and these deep brown eyes. I took 1,000,000 photos, sent them to everyone I knew. My mom said he looked like her father. My dad said all babies look like potatoes. Brian said he's got some lungs on him, which was his way of being supportive. Nobody said he looked like me. But I was too high on new dad adrenaline to notice. We fell into a routine. I did the night feedings because Amanda was recovering. I changed the diapers because she had back pain from the C-section. I took him to his 2-month checkup because she had a mandatory teacher training. I didn't mind. I wanted to be involved. I wanted to be the kind of dad mine never was. When Lily came along in September 2018, things felt different. Amanda was more relaxed during that pregnancy. She let me come to appointments. She showed me the ultrasound videos. She actually seemed happy about it instead of anxious. Lily was born without complications, and this time I was in the delivery room. I cut the cord. I watched my daughter take her first breath. And when they put her on my chest, still covered in all that birth stuff, I looked into her eyes and saw myself. My blue eyes. My freckles already starting to show on her tiny nose. My slightly crooked smile. That should have been my first clue. But I was an idiot. The next few years blurred together like they do when you're raising two kids and working rotating shifts at the fire station. Ethan started kindergarten. Lily started talking. Amanda went back to teaching full time. I picked up extra shifts to cover the bills because Amanda said we were living paycheck to paycheck. Even though I made decent money and she had a teacher's salary, I was doing everything. The morning routine, breakfast, clothes, backpack checks. The evening routine, homework, dinner, baths, bedtime stories. The weekend routine, soccer practice, birthday parties, grocery shopping. Amanda was always too tired from teaching, always on her phone, always had a girls' night or a teacher happy hour or a professional development dinner. I told myself she deserved to relax. She worked hard. She dealt with 25 8-year-olds every day. I could handle the home stuff. That's what partners do, right? My brother Brian visited for Ethan's 7th birthday party in March 2022. We were in the backyard watching the kids run around, and Brian was looking at Ethan with this weird expression. "What?" I said. "Dude," Brian said carefully, "has anyone ever told you that Ethan doesn't look anything like you?" I laughed. "Kids look like whoever. Lily's my twin. Ethan takes after Amanda's side." "Does he, though?" Brian pulled out his phone and showed me Amanda's Facebook photos. Her parents, her siblings, her extended family at some reunion. "Because I don't see it, man." "What are you saying?" I felt something cold settle in my stomach. "I'm not saying anything." Brian put his phone away. "Just, you ever wonder?" "No," I said, and I meant it. Because wondering meant acknowledging something I couldn't afford to acknowledge. It meant my whole life might be built on something unstable. So I didn't wonder. I pushed it down. I went back to being super dad. I coached Ethan's soccer team even though he wasn't particularly interested in soccer. I taught Lily to ride her bike without training wheels. I showed up to every school event, every recital, every award ceremony. Amanda started picking fights in early 2023. Stupid stuff. I didn't load the dishwasher right. I forgot to buy the specific brand of yogurt she liked. I was emotionally unavailable. That one made me laugh because I was the only one doing any emotional labor in the house. But I apologized anyway. I always apologized. Valentine's Day 2023, I made reservations at the Italian place where we had our first date. Bought roses, got a card, asked my mom to watch the kids. When I came home from my shift that afternoon, Amanda was gone. Out with friends, according to the note on the counter. She came home at midnight, drunk, and told me I was suffocating her. That's when I knew something was really wrong. But even then, I tried to fix it. I suggested couples counseling. She said we didn't need it, we just needed space. So I started sleeping in the guest room. She said it was because of my snoring. In March 2023, I found a hotel charge on our credit card, $412 at a Hilton in downtown Stamford. When I asked her about it, she barely looked up from her phone. "Teacher conference," she said. "It ran late. I got a room." "You didn't mention a conference." "I did. You weren't listening." Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was too busy keeping our kids alive and our house running to keep track of her schedule. Or maybe she never told me because there was no conference. The divorce request came on April 3rd, 2023, Ethan's 8th birthday. She waited until after the party, after the cake, after the kids were in bed. Then she sat me down at the kitchen table and said, "I want a divorce." I asked why. She said I was emotionally unavailable. I was never present. I prioritized work over family. Each accusation felt like a punch because they were all lies, and we both knew it. "I do everything," I said. I'm here every day. I'm the one raising our kids. Exactly, she said. You're too involved. You're overwhelming. There was no logic to it, but she'd made up her mind. She wanted out. She'd already talked to a lawyer. She had a whole plan. I moved out that week, rented a depressing one-bedroom apartment 20 minutes away. The kids would stay with her during the school week, come to me on weekends. It seemed fair. I hated every second of it. That first Sunday night when I had to take them back to Amanda's house, Lily cried so hard she threw up in the car. She didn't want to go. She wanted to stay with me. But Amanda stood in the doorway with her arms crossed, and I had no legal right to keep my daughter. I hired an attorney in May, Jessica Torres, recommended by Captain Frank at the station. She was sharp, no nonsense, and expensive. But she looked at my situation and said, "You're the primary caregiver. We can get you 50-50 custody easily." We filed the motion. Amanda's lawyer responded immediately. Not just declining 50-50 custody, requesting full custody with me getting supervised visits only. 2 hours, twice a month, with a court-appointed supervisor present. "She's trying to erase you," Jessica said. "This is a power play. Don't let her rattle you." But I was rattled, because Amanda knew exactly how to hurt me, and she was just getting started. Summer 2023 dragged on like a slow-motion nightmare. I had the kids every weekend, and they were clearly miserable at Amanda's during the week. Ethan got quieter. Lily started wetting the bed again, something she hadn't done since she was 3. When I asked what was wrong, they'd just shrug. Kids protect their parents, even the ones hurting them. October 2023, we finally got a court date set. December 14th. Custody hearing. I was ready. I had documentation of every missed school event Amanda skipped, every time she forgot to pack Lily's lunch, every phone call where Lily begged to come back to my place early. I had character witnesses, teachers, coaches, other parents who saw how involved I was. Then on October 23rd, Jessica called me. "Michael, we have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Amanda's lawyer just filed a motion." Jessica's voice was tight. "She's claiming there are paternity concerns regarding Lily." I actually laughed. "What?" "She's saying there was a period of separation in 2017 where she was involved with someone else. She's claiming she's not sure if you're Lily's biological father." The room tilted. "That's insane. There was no separation. And Lily looks exactly like me." "I know, but she's claiming it, and she's requesting a court-ordered DNA test. If the test shows you're not the biological father, you'd have no legal standing for custody, no rights at all." "This is a stunt," I said. "She's lying." "Probably, but we have to take it seriously. The judge won't ignore a paternity claim, even a bogus one. So what do? We take the test, we prove she's lying, and then we bury her in court for making a false claim." I agreed, because I knew the truth. Lily was mine. I'd been there at her birth. I'd been there every day since. Some lawyer's piece of paper wasn't going to change that. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in my apartment, scrolling through photos on my phone. There was one from Lily's 4th birthday. She was grinning at the camera with frosting all over her face. And next to her was Ethan, already looking older than his years, with that serious expression he always had. I zoomed in on Ethan's face, the dark hair, the brown eyes, the strong jaw that was nothing like mine. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I opened a private browser and Googled Amanda Brennan Teacher, Fairfield County. Her school website came up, current staff. There was her photo, her bland bio, but when I clicked through to the archive pages, I found her previous school. Before Riverside Elementary, she taught at Meadowbrook Academy from 2012 to 2015. I searched the Meadowbrook staff directory, found the old rosters, and there, under Physical Education and Health, was a name I'd seen before in her old texts, Derek Hayes. I pulled out the box of Amanda's old stuff from the garage, The things she'd left behind when she moved out. Her old phone was at the bottom, battery dead. I charged it. Paid a guy I knew from the fire department who did IT stuff to recover the deleted messages. It took him 3 days. When he handed me the USB drive, he said, "You sure you want to see this?" I watched the messages load on my laptop screen. Years of them, starting in March 2014. Derek, can't wait to see you tonight. Room 428. Amanda, me too. Tell your wife you're at the conference dinner. Derek, already did. She doesn't suspect anything. Amanda, what are we going to do about this? Derek, about what? Amanda, I'm pregnant. There was a gap of 2 weeks. Then, Derek, you sure it's mine? Amanda, I don't know. Could be Michael's too. It was the same time. Derek, what are you going to do? Amanda, I'm going to tell Michael it's his. He'll never question it. Derek, Jesus, Amanda. Amanda, you have a wife, kids, a career. I'm not ruining that for you. This is my problem. Derek, when are you due? Amanda, March, early March. Derek, keep me updated, but after the baby comes, we should stop this. Amanda, I know. They didn't stop. The messages continued sporadically for another year. Then they stopped. Presumably when Derek moved to Massachusetts to take a job at a private school. I sat there staring at the screen until the sun came up. Then I called Mark Sullivan, my best friend and co-worker. I need you to tell me the truth, I said when he answered. Do you think Ethan is my son? There was a long pause. Mike, the truth, Mark. No, he said quietly. I don't. None of us do. We just didn't want to hurt you. I hung up, looked at photos of Ethan. Then I looked up Derek Hayes on Facebook. Found him easily. Profile picture, him with his wife and 2 kids. His oldest son was 12. He looked exactly like Ethan. Same hair, same eyes, same build. I called Jessica. I need to test both kids, I said. Michael, the motion is only for Lily. I know, but let Amanda test Lily first. Let her dig her own grave, because I know what the result will show. And once that comes back, I'm requesting a test for Ethan too. Why? Jessica asked. Then she got it. Oh. Yeah, I said. Oh. December 14th arrived like an execution date. I drove to Stamford Family Court with my brother Brian beside me. I'd barely slept in weeks. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those text messages. Every time I looked at Ethan, I saw Derek's face. The courtroom was exactly as depressing as you'd imagine. Fluorescent lights, uncomfortable chairs, a judge who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Judge Patricia Holloway called us to order. Amanda sat across the aisle with her lawyer, Thomas Garrett, a slick guy in an expensive suit who'd made his career on nasty divorces. Garrett stood up. Your Honor, my client has brought to the court's attention that there is reasonable doubt regarding the paternity of the minor child, Lily Brennan. We're requesting a court-ordered DNA test to establish biological parentage before proceeding with custody arrangements. Judge Holloway looked at me. Mr. Brennan, do you contest this request? Jessica stood. We do not contest the test, Your Honor. My client is confident in the results and is prepared to proceed today. The test was administered right there in a side room. A nurse swabbed Lily's cheek, then mine. Lily asked why we were doing this. I told her it was just a doctor thing, nothing to worry about. She believed me because 6-year-olds believe their parents. Results would take 10 business days. Those were the longest 10 days of my life. I went through the motions at work, showed up for my shifts, saved people from fires, but inside I was burning down. I looked at Ethan differently now, studied his features, tried to see myself in him and couldn't. He was a good kid, smart, funny, kind. He was also a stranger's son. Captain Frank pulled me aside one day. You're not present, Mike. What's going on? I told him everything. The DNA test, the affair, the 9 years of lies. Jesus, Frank said. He was quiet for a minute. You know, even if the test shows he's not yours biologically, you're still his father in every way that matters. But I'm not, I said. Oh, that's the problem. I'm some idiot who raised another man's kid while he got to walk away clean. Then make sure he doesn't, Frank said. December 28th, 2:47 p.m., back in court. Judge Holloway read from the lab report. The test results show a probability of paternity between Michael Brennan and Lily Brennan of 99.99%. Mr. Brennan is confirmed as the biological father. Relief hit me like a wave. I looked at Amanda. Her face had gone white. Her lawyer leaned over, whispering frantically in her ear. Judge Holloway looked at Amanda over her glasses. Mrs. Brennan, you brought a baseless claim that has wasted this court's time and resources. Your motion for sole custody based on paternity concerns is denied. I thought that was it. We'd move forward. I'd get my 50-50 custody. Amanda would be embarrassed, but we'd move on. Then the judge said something that stopped my heart. However, she looked at the papers in front of her. Given the accusations Mrs. Brennan has made regarding the timeline of the marriage and potential extramarital relationships, and given that there are 2 minor children involved, I am ordering a second paternity test, this one for the minor child, Ethan Brennan. The courtroom went silent. Amanda's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, that's not necessary. The mother opened this door, Counselor. We're walking through it. Judge Holloway looked at me. Mr. Brennan, you and your son will be tested today. Results in 10 business days. Court is adjourned. I drove home in a fog. Ethan had been at his friend's house during the court session. I picked him up on the way back. He was talking about some video game, excited and animated, and all I could think was, I'm going to lose you. That night, I sat in his room after he fell asleep, watched his chest rise and fall, memorized his face. He'd been mine for 9 years. In 10 days, that might all be erased. I called Brian at 2 a.m. It's going to be bad, I said, and the test is going to show he's not mine. You don't know that. I know. I've known for months. I just didn't want to admit it. Even if he's not yours biologically, Brian said, you're still his dad. You've been there his whole life. But she knew, I said. She knew the whole time, and she let me believe. She let me love him, and now she's using it as a weapon. Then use it back, Brian said. Stop playing defense. Go on offense. I hung up and sat there in the dark, and I realized he was right. I'd spent 10 years avoiding conflict, being the peacekeeper, letting Amanda control the narrative. Not anymore. I opened my laptop and started making a list. Evidence, documentation, witnesses, a timeline of Amanda's lies, the recovered text messages, Derek Hayes' contact information, Amanda's spending patterns, everything. By sunrise, I had a plan. The next 10 days were hell, but this time I wasn't passive. I was preparing for war. January 8th, 2024, back to court. I brought Brian for support. Amanda brought her parents, which was a mistake on her part because they were about to learn exactly who their daughter really was. Judge Holloway read the results without preamble. The test results show a probability of paternity between Michael Brennan and Ethan Brennan of 0%. Mr. Brennan is not the biological father. The words hit like bullets. I'd known. But knowing and hearing it official were different things. Amanda's face was white. Her lawyer stood immediately. Your Honor, my client would like to... Sit down, Mr. Garrett. Judge Holloway was not playing games. She looked at Amanda. Mrs. Brennan, do you understand that you have committed fraud? You have accepted child support for a child that is not Mr. Brennan's biological son for 9 years. You have perjured yourself in court documents. This is extremely serious. Amanda started crying. The kind of crying that's meant to earn sympathy. It didn't work. Jessica stood up. Your Honor, we'd like to file several motions immediately. First, we're requesting full physical custody of the minor child, Lily Brennan, with Mrs. Brennan receiving supervised visitation only. Second, we're demanding reimbursement of all child support paid for Ethan Brennan, approximately $85,000 over 9 years. Third, we're requesting reimbursement for half of all medical, educational, and extracurricular expenses for said child, approximately $40,000. And fourth, we're demanding Mrs. Brennan disclose the identity of Ethan's biological father so that he can be held responsible for child support obligations. Amanda's lawyer tried to interrupt. Jessica kept going. Additionally, Your Honor, we have evidence of the affair that produced the child in question. She handed the judge a folder. Text messages recovered from Mrs. Brennan's old phone, clearly showing knowledge of the pregnancy and deliberate deception of Mr. Brennan. Judge Holloway looked through the messages. Her expression got harder with each page. Mrs. Brennan, she said, you will provide the name of the biological father within 30 days, or you will be held in contempt of court. In the meantime, I am granting Mr. Brennan temporary full custody of Lily Brennan, effective immediately. You will have supervised visits 2 hours per week, pending a psychological evaluation. Furthermore, you are ordered to reimburse Mr. Brennan for all amounts stated. If you cannot pay immediately, wage garnishment will be arranged. Amanda was sobbing now, real crying this time. I can't pay that, she said. I don't have that kind of money. You should have thought of that 9 years ago, the judge said. We're adjourned. I walked out of that courtroom in a daze. Jessica was already on her phone, handling the paperwork. Brian grabbed my arm. You okay? I just lost my son, I said. How am I supposed to be okay? In the parking lot, Amanda's mother, Susan, confronted me. You're destroying my daughter. I looked at her. This woman who'd raised Amanda to believe the world revolved around her, who taught her that image mattered more than truth. No, Susan, I said. She destroyed herself. I just held up the mirror. Amanda's father, Robert, pulled Susan away. He looked at me with something like respect. She lied to all of us, he said quietly. I'm sorry. Amanda screamed from her car. You're going to regret this. I regret believing you for 10 years, I said. That's all I regret. The ripple effects started immediately. Within 48 hours, word spread through our small community. Fairfield County might be part of the greater Hartford area, but our specific town was small enough that everyone knew everyone's business. Amanda's school put her on administrative leave. Not fired, but close enough. The principal released a statement about investigating conduct unbecoming of an educator. Parent groups exploded, WhatsApp threads that I wasn't even part of, but Mark's wife was, and she showed me the screenshots, were calling for Amanda to be fired. She lied under oath. What else is she lying about? I don't want her teaching my kid. Derek Hayes was harder to track down, but the court had process servers for that. They found him at the private school in Springfield where he taught. Hand-delivered the court summons along with the DNA results. He called me 2 days later. I don't know how he got my number, probably through the court documents. What the hell is happening? He said. You have a 9-year-old son, I said. My voice was ice. Your affair with my wife created him. Congratulations. It was just a few times. Tell it to the judge, I said. And your wife, Jennifer, right? She know you've got a secret kid out here? He hung up. His marriage imploded within a week. Jennifer filed for divorce, and suddenly Derek was dealing with his own custody battle, plus child support for a kid he'd never met. The social fallout was worse than any legal penalty. Amanda's friend group disappeared. The women she'd spent years doing girls' nights with suddenly had scheduling conflicts. The church we'd attended occasionally, not regularly, but enough to be known, sided with me. The pastor called to check on me. We're praying for you and the children, he said. Amanda wasn't invited back. The little league where I coached asked me to continue for the spring season. They pointedly didn't ask Amanda to volunteer, even though she'd been team mom for years. I took Lily out to celebrate getting her back full time. Her favorite restaurant, this diner that makes pancakes with chocolate chips shaped like Mickey Mouse. "Are you and Mommy going to be friends again?" she asked, syrup all over her face. "No, sweetheart," I said, "but you'll always have both of us who love you." "Can Ethan still come to our house?" My heart broke. "We'll see, baby. We'll see." Because that was the question I didn't have an answer to. Ethan was legally not my son, but I'd raised him. I'd been at every birthday, every soccer game, every school performance. Could I just stop? The universe had a sick sense of humor about that. Mid-February, Amanda's life continued to unravel. She got officially fired from Riverside Elementary. The morality clause in her contract was airtight. She'd lied under oath, committed fraud, and brought negative publicity to the school. They owed her nothing. She couldn't afford her apartment anymore. Moved back in with her parents in their two-big house in West Hartford. Susan still defended her. Robert was silent, which said everything. Amanda's Instagram disappeared. Her Facebook went private. She became a ghost in her own community. Then I got a call from Susan on March 10th. "Amanda's in the hospital," she said. "Yale, New Haven, psychiatric hold. She tried to hurt herself." I felt a lot of things in that moment. Shock, concern, and then anger at myself for feeling concern. "Is she okay?" "Physically, yes. Mentally, she's not doing well. She keeps saying she's sorry, over and over." Against my lawyer's advice, I went to the hospital. I didn't go into her room, didn't want to, wasn't allowed to anyway, but I looked through the window in the door. Amanda sat on the bed in a hospital gown, staring at nothing. Medicated, defeated, destroyed. A nurse saw me. "Are you family?" "I was her husband," I said. "She keeps apologizing to someone named Michael," the nurse said. "Is that you?" "Yeah." "Would it help if you talked to her?" "I don't think anything would help," I said, and I left. That night, I called my therapist. I'd started seeing Dr. Patel in January, right after everything exploded. "I destroyed her," I said. "I destroyed her life, and now she's in a psych ward." "Did you commit fraud for 9 years?" Dr. Patel asked. "No." "Did you lie about a child's paternity?" "No." "Did you weaponize a DNA test trying to eliminate someone's parental rights?" "No." "Then you didn't destroy her, Michael. She destroyed herself. You just stopped participating in the lie." I wanted to believe that, but when I closed my eyes, I saw Amanda in that hospital room, broken, and part of me, the part that had loved her once, wondered if I'd gone too far. The moral complexity came to a head with Ethan. Derek, through his lawyer, made it clear he wanted nothing to do with Ethan. He would pay child support the court was making him, but he didn't want custody or visitation. "I have 2 kids already," his lawyer told Jessica. "My client is not interested in developing a relationship with this child." So Ethan, 9 years old and completely innocent in all of this, found out through his mother's terrible explanation that the man he'd called dad his whole life wasn't actually his dad. And his actual dad didn't want him. Amanda tried to explain it to him. From what I heard through Lily, it went badly. "Michael's not your real dad," Amanda had said, like that was supposed to make anything better. Ethan was devastated. He called me. Amanda still let him use her phone sometimes and said, "Are you still my dad?" I sat in my apartment holding the phone, trying not to cry. "I'll always be your dad if you want me to be," I said. "But you're not," he said. "Mom said you're not my real dad." Biology doesn't make someone a dad, Ethan. Being there does. And I've been there your whole life. There was silence. Then, "Can I still come visit?" "Anytime you want, buddy." I asked Derek's lawyer if I could maintain a relationship with Ethan. Derek didn't care. The court approved it. So twice a month, I got Ethan for a weekend. The first visit was awkward. He was quiet, withdrawn. Didn't want to play video games or go to the park. Just sat on my couch looking uncomfortable. You can be mad at me, I said. You can be mad at your mom. You can be mad at everybody. It's okay. I'm not mad, he said. I don't know who I am anymore. 9 years old and having an identity crisis because the adults in his life were terrible. I wanted to fix it, but I couldn't. You're Ethan, I said. You're smart and funny, and you're really good at Mario Kart. That hasn't changed. Everything changed, he said. He wasn't wrong. The community judgment was split. Some people thought I was a hero, exposing a cheater, standing up for myself, getting justice. Others thought I'd gone too far. The comments I saw online, because of course I'm not a saint, range from supportive to horrified. Supportive, Steve, 92, good for him. She committed fraud. She deserves everything she got. Moral compass mom. He destroyed her career over a mistake? What about forgiveness? Justice, warrior, mistake? She lied for 9 years. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. Concerned, citizen, what about the kids? They're the real victims here. That last one hit hard because it was true. Ethan and Lily were victims. They didn't ask for any of this. They just wanted parents who had their shit together. I stopped reading comments. Amanda filed for bankruptcy in April. She couldn't pay the $125,000 judgment. Her parents loaned her some money, but not enough. The court arranged wage garnishment, but she didn't have wages to garnish since she'd been fired. She moved to a different town. I heard through mutual connections that she was working as a substitute teacher under a slightly different name, trying to rebuild, trying to hide. I didn't care anymore. My energy went to Lily and, to the extent I was allowed, Ethan. March became April. April became May. Spring arrived in Connecticut with all its insufferable optimism, flowers blooming, birds chirping, life going on like it hadn't just been burned to the ground. I established new routines with Lily. School drop-offs became our time. We'd listen to whatever pop song she was obsessed with that week and sing badly. Bedtime stories became sacred. I read to her every night, even when I was exhausted from a double shift. She started drawing again. During the worst of the divorce, she'd stopped. Now our fridge was covered with crayon pictures of firefighters and puppies and rainbows. Her teacher, Ms. Peterson, pulled me aside at parent-teacher night. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Lily's a different child. She's happy again. Ethan's visits were harder, but they were consistent. Every other weekend, he'd come over. We'd play video games, go to the park, get ice cream. We didn't talk about Amanda much. We didn't talk about Derek at all. One Saturday in June, we were at the playground, and Ethan was on the swings. He said, "Mike?" He'd started calling me Mike instead of Dad. I hated it, but I understood. "Yeah, bud? I'm glad you still want me around." "Always," I said. "Always." I got promoted to lieutenant in May. Captain Frank called me into his office and said, "You've got a new focus, a new drive. I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened, but you've become a better firefighter because of it." Because my marriage exploded? Because you stopped being afraid of conflict, Frank said. You used to avoid confrontation at all costs. Now you face things head on. That's leadership. I started mentoring younger firefighters, found purpose in teaching, found peace and structure. Therapy continued twice a week with Dr. Patel. We worked on trust issues, people-pleasing tendencies, setting boundaries, all the things I'd failed at in my marriage. You spent 10 years avoiding conflict to keep peace, Dr. Patel said, but peace built on lies isn't real peace. So what is it? Control, she said. She controlled you by making you afraid of losing her, and you let her because you thought that was love. It wasn't. No, Dr. Patel said, it was codependency. I joined a divorced dad's support group, sat in a church basement every Tuesday night with guys who were going through their own version of hell. Some were bitter, some were healing. All of us were just trying to figure out how to be good fathers when our families had imploded. I reconnected with old college friends. Started a hiking group with guys from work. Got a dog, a golden retriever puppy that Lily named Captain Sparkles because she was 6 and had no concept of dignified names. Life became not normal, but functional. In early June, Amanda requested mediation through her lawyer. She wanted to apologize properly. Jessica advised against it. She's looking for closure, not offering it. But Dr. Patel thought it might be good for me. We met in a conference room with a court-appointed mediator present. Amanda looked smaller somehow, thinner, older. Her hair was different. She looked like someone I used to know. "I'm sorry," she said. It sounded rehearsed. "I was selfish. I was scared. I made terrible choices, and I hurt you." "You didn't just hurt me," I said. "You stole 9 years I can't get back. You let me fall in love with a child you knew wasn't mine. You weaponized a DNA test to try to take away my daughter, and when that backfired, you made yourself the victim." "I know," she said quietly. "Do you?" I leaned forward. "Because I don't think you do. I think you're sorry you got caught. Sorry you lost your job and your friends and your reputation, but I don't think you're sorry for what you actually did. That's not fair." "Fair?" I laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. "You want to talk about fair?" Ethan asked me why his real dad doesn't want him. "Lily has nightmares about you taking her away again. I can't trust anyone because my wife of 10 years lied to my face every day. So don't talk to me about fair." The mediator stepped in. "Let's take a break." We didn't go back. There was nothing left to say. I didn't forgive her that day. Maybe I never will. But I stopped waiting for her to give me closure. I gave it to myself. Summer came. Lily finished first grade with straight A's and a certificate for most improved student. She wanted to be a firefighter when she grew up. Captain Frank let her visit the station and try on gear that was comically too big for her. Ethan finished 4th grade. He was doing okay. Not great, but okay. His grades were fine. He was making friends. He was surviving. It was the best I could hope for. I started dating in July. Nothing serious. A few coffee dates, a movie, dinner here and there. One woman, Sarah, was a nurse at Hartford Hospital. She was nice, uncomplicated, didn't ask too many questions about my ex-wife. We went out 3 times before I told her the full story. "Jesus," she said when I finished. "That's a lot." "Too much?" I asked. "For a 3rd date, definitely." But she smiled. "For a 4th date, I think I can handle it." We're still seeing each other, taking it slow. She met Lily once, very casual, very brief. Lily liked her, which matters. I don't know if it'll turn into anything, but it's nice to remember that not everyone is Amanda. Fall arrived, leaves changed. School started again. Lily started 2nd grade. Ethan started 5th. Our weird little blended family continued to function in its damaged way. Amanda got a permanent position as a long-term substitute at a school 40 minutes away. She's teaching under her maiden name, Amanda Hartley again, like the marriage never happened. She still lives with her parents, still sees Lily for supervised visits twice a month. Lily goes reluctantly, comes back quiet. Derek met Ethan once. It was court mandated. One meeting to establish that Derek had made an effort. It went exactly as badly as you'd expect. Derek showed up to a Panera looking uncomfortable. Ethan sat across from him looking terrified. I sat at a table nearby per the court order, close enough to supervise but far enough to give them privacy. The meeting lasted 20 minutes. Derek asked surface-level questions. "How's school? What sports do you play? Do you like video games?" Ethan answered in monosyllables. Then Derek checked his watch and said he had to go. He hasn't contacted Ethan since. Sends child support payments to Amanda monthly. That's the extent of his fatherhood. I'm still in Ethan's life. Still have him every other weekend. He started calling me dad again. I don't know if that's healthy or confusing for him, but his therapist says it's okay. He gets to define the relationship however he needs to. People ask me if I regret exposing Amanda, if I think I went too far. No. Do I regret how far it went? Sometimes. When I see Amanda's hollow eyes during custody exchanges, when Ethan has nightmares, when Lily asks why her mom seems so sad all the time. But then I remember sitting in that courtroom while Amanda tried to take away my daughter. I remember reading those text messages where she laughed about deceiving me. I remember 9 years of gaslighting. And I don't regret it. The truth was always going to come out. It always does. You can run from it, you can hide it, you can bury it under lies and manipulation and strategic legal moves. But eventually, the truth catches you at the finish line. Amanda ran from the truth for 9 years. It caught her in family court on December 28th, 2023. I ran from conflict for 10 years. It caught me when my entire life fell apart. We're both different people now, smaller, more careful, more damaged. But at least we're real. It's December now, almost a year since the first DNA test. I'm sitting on my porch watching Lily play in the front yard with Captain Sparkles. She's laughing. The dog is trying to catch snowflakes. It's absurdly wholesome. Ethan's inside playing video games. He's sleeping over tonight. Tomorrow we're going to cut down a Christmas tree, a tradition I started last year after everything fell apart. Something new, something that belongs to us. My phone buzzes. Text from Sarah. Dinner tomorrow after you drop Ethan off. My place? I text back. Sounds good. Life is different. Not better, exactly. Different. I have my daughter. I have something resembling a relationship with the boy I raised. I have a career I'm good at. I have friends. I have a dog. I might have a girlfriend. I don't have the life I thought I'd have, but maybe that life was built on a foundation of lies anyway. The DNA test didn't just end every argument. It ended the man who was too scared to have them, the man who avoided conflict, who kept peace at the cost of truth, who made himself small to make someone else comfortable. That man is gone. And good riddance. People say time heals all wounds. I don't know if that's true. It's been a year and I still wake up angry some mornings, still look at family photos and feel cheated, still wonder what my life would have looked like if Amanda had just been honest. But I'm not drowning anymore. I'm swimming. Some days it's more like treading water, but I'm moving forward. Lily calls from the yard. Daddy, watch this. She's trying to teach Captain Sparkles to jump through a hula hoop. The dog has no idea what's happening, but he's enthusiastic about it. I watch my daughter, my actual biological, no question about it daughter. She's got my eyes, my smile, my stubborn streak. She's going to be okay. We're both going to be okay. And if that's not a happy ending, it's at least a real one. The truth you run from always catches you at the finish line. I learned that the hard way. But at least now, when I cross that line, I'm running as myself. No more lies, no more pretending, just me, damaged, healing, real. And honestly, that's enough.